Welcome back my YouTube families. Today I'm going to take you through how to do simple designs. It's handy if you have a mannequin because you can adjust to your body size and your height. If you haven't got, you might want to use someone similar to your height and build, but be careful when you're putting them in pins because don't pin them. As you can see, I have got some strips here, they're coming off now. This is a guide. So when I design a dress, I design it on the mannequin itself. So I put a guide like so according to my size, and it's easier for me to work through how low I want the neck and the sleeve and so on. Recently I joined LARPing medieval event, so I'm sewing medieval clothes and garments so that I can use it. So today this is how I drape it. Say if you want a V-neck, okay, always make sure give allowance for the seam, fold it in like that and then pin it if that's how low you want your neck, and then you would insert the pin, okay, and then you can work through the design. It's so easy because I normally sketch it and then I drape it on the mannequin, and it's easier for me to work through, and then I'll cut it and then I'll fit it, and then before you sew it you have to hand stitch it so you know exactly whether it fits you or you need further adjustment. Because once you already run through machine, if it's a tight stitches, then it's so hard to remove these stitches and you might also damage the fabric. So you always got to be careful. So today I'm going to go, the group that I joined, I believe it's black and gold or yellow. So I am going to keep to that theme. I haven't joined any team yet because I just started last week trying, and I really enjoy it because it's also very good for fitness. And as you can see, it's a bit messy at the moment because I'm doing lots of sewing, and one of the things that I did was this. It's actually a cap, okay? Important tip for sewing is make sure you have everything that you need. You need a lot of space to work. Find a higher table. Like this one is, just buy a door and I paint it, and then you put it on the table to stable because that works very well. Gives me the height, give me the length and the width to work. You don't have to spend a lot of money just to go and purchase a sewing table. This only cost me like $45 Australian. Yeah, and then you buy some varnish and just varnish it. It's your work area. It doesn't have to impress anyone so long you are comfortable with it. And yeah, basically I have sewn a few cape. I'll show you one of them. This is one of the cape that I'm working since last night. Went to sleep about 5 o'clock in the morning. Normally you can use one of those clips for the fabric to sew seams, but I find the fold back clips like this one being used for papers, that works better than the other clips. So I don't use the other one anymore because it doesn't really hold the fabric. So I use these. So like if you're going to fold that, fold and clip it, because sometimes needles just falls off if the fabric is too soft. Like this one, it's very soft and slippery because I need to sew that. And yeah, that's the cape that I worked last night. It's still yet to finish. That's how it looks. I'll take you the back. So that's how it looked at the back. I'm still working on all that because it's incomplete. And that's about a 3-meter fabric. The width is about 60 inches, I think. Yeah. And you have to give lining because this fabric is very soft and easy to tear. As you can see, I'm working through the linings, and I got to fuse that later. This is one of the cape for the to look like a wolf, okay, in the clan. So yeah, come on with me and I'll show you how to make simple patterns. If you like, say if you like a pattern like this one. My son bought this, okay, because he didn't have one when he joined, so he went and bought one of these. I think it's called tunic, is it? Whatever it's called, like that, but it doesn't sit properly. So what I do was, if you want something like that and if you think it doesn't sit properly, you can borrow from someone, okay? If you think it's too expensive, you can buy a meter of fabric. That's all you need, okay? And you fold like that, okay? That's just very simple pattern. You can place it on the fold of the fabric. You got to fold it 4 times, and then you can work your way through. So this is a separate attachment to seal the seams on the side. So I'm making another one at the moment and I'll show you. I'm halfway with it. The tip is I just use a normal sewing machine. I don't have industrial sewing machine. That's good enough as long as the sewing machine is heavy and it's a good machine. You don't buy a light sewing machine because as you're sewing, it doesn't stay in place. It just moves around all over the place, and that's very uncomfortable completing a garment. Okay, another thing, if you don't have a sewing machine, I've got a quick tip for you. You can use one of these tape. Okay, it's called iron-on hemming web. It's a double-sided. So that's a double-sided tape where you can actually seal both ends, okay, of fabric. So you can get away with it. I personally haven't tried, but I heard from few sources it does work. So you can give it a go if you don't have a washing machine. This also gives you a very neat finish, but you got to be very careful when you apply, and you just iron with a hot iron based on the fabric. If you have a very say it's 100% nylon fabric, then you have to put a thin cotton layer over it, then you iron, otherwise you're going to cook your fabric. Let me take you through how I'll cut this design. Also, when you're buying a fabric, always wash before you use it, because some fabrics will shrink, and also some fabric, the dye will bleed, so you don't want it to bleed onto other clothes. So always wash before you use it. Always make sure to cut the any pattern on a grain line so that it doesn't go out of shape when you're wearing. Sometimes it looks like a bit pulling one side. That's because it wasn't cut on the grain line. I've seen some of the clothes that I bought from markets, it doesn't sit properly. So I don't buy any more clothes from market because I like to look at how the garment is cut. I can sew most of the clothes, so I do it when I'm free. Okay. Some fabric easy to find out where it's the grain line. Like I know where it's the grain line. If you're not sure, I'll just give you an easy tip. If you buy a cloth that's it's got a nylon in it, when it stretches when you pull, you know that's the wrong way. So you got to turn it around and try pulling it. It won't stretch. So that's sitting on the grain line. Okay, you can't do that to the cotton, but you can see the edge of the fabric, and if you follow that, draping the fabric like that, like so, then you know that is the grain line. Before cutting this fabric, I need to iron. If you can see the crease, because if you see crease like that, after you cutting the pattern, it might go out of shape, so you don't want that. You want to do everything right before you start cutting the fabric. You can see I've already ironed and I fold it into 4. Okay, I'm going to show you a simple how you can copy a garment. I don't need it. Normally I don't copy it. Today I'm going to show it because my son wants to see. And also I thought I'll show you guys how you can do. It's very okay. So this is folded into 4. This is about a meter fabric. The width is about 60 inches. So that's the tunic that I was showing you. Gather all of them together because this is a very straightforward pattern. Nothing hard. Okay, make sure all the fabric aligned properly. Okay, hopefully it sits on there. So as you can see, because I've got a very tight pattern which sits exactly the width of the bottom. So what you can do is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach another attachment like that, or I'm going to show you also how to attach these things. Okay, these iron-on tapes, double-sided. So this is what partially I've done within less than half an hour. I haven't finished it yet. Can you see how I infused it with the double-sided tape inside? That's like a leather look, and you can see there too. But I got to hem all this. Okay, I'm not going to do too much because I want a bit rustic look. Okay, and then I might we want some basic cloth, but I want a bit fashionable cloth. So I've got an offcuts here. We're not going to waste these. I'm going to show you how you can drape this. So most probably I'm going to go to the back and then bring it forward like that. Okay, and then I'll attach these. Okay, and you fold all these. I'll pin it and then attach like that. It looks like a fashion by itself, isn't it? How good it looks. This is why mannequin is important, because you can see and you can adjust. Okay, this tunic I'm not going to join it. I'm going to put a string to tie it. Okay, so you have to wear something underneath. So that's how. Okay, I'm going to cut that one. Make sure you have a good pair of scissors as well. If you're using scissors for sewing, cutting fabrics, do not use it for any other purposes, cutting papers, because you'll lose the sharpness. Okay, using for sewing, it's just for sewing. Okay, so I'm going to do it something like that. What do you think? So there's a slit behind too, so when you're moving with the sword, it's easy and flexible because you don't want to get caught in your clothes. And that's not what you... So again, we use these kind of swords. These fiberglass, and outside it's like a floor. It's a lot of fun. always make sure to give seam allowances when you're cutting, okay? So when you're cutting this, you have to give at least 1.5 centimeter. Okay, if you haven't got enough, then you have to go as close as possible, I guess. But yeah, and also make sure if the fabric is like it's, you know, most fabrics when you cut, they will fray, so you have to interlock or actually you fold it and then you double fold it, that's right, and then you stitch it along, so that way you stop it from fraying. I'm using one of these fabric chalk, okay, so you're going to draw the pattern, so I'm going to give allowance so that, okay, and I want just work that through. I want this to be a bit extended, and then you curve gently and work your way through, because you want to keep the, okay, and then here you give again, I'm going to give like 1 inch, okay, for hemming, but you can give 1.5, that's a minimum, or 1 centimeter also works, okay. So basically I got the outline. For the front neck, see, they both cut exactly the same distance, but the shape of it for the front is lower. That's not a problem. We can come back to that later. So I'm just going to take that across, put it there, and look at it where I can improve. If you have one of these curved rulers, use them. If you don't have, don't worry about it. Okay. Just go through, and get the top bit right. Okay, and then that will do it. Check the shoulder. Sorry, I think my sewing machine is in the way. But I'm just showing you what you can do if you like something that you've seen. Just start with a simple pattern first, and then you will get the hang of it, how to cut and how to manage fabrics. I'm going to use my fabric scissors. I'm not going to pin the fabric. You can pin it because this fabric is quite heavy, so they're not going to make heavy and a bit rigid because that's a denim. See, I've done that. I'm also going to use one of these roller cutters so it's easier, so I don't have to move the fabric around. Make sure you have I've got a plastic board underneath. Okay. So see how easy, I don't have to move it around and use the shape of it. Some of the thread might catch, so just make sure that all is cut. And then fold and drag this further onto the board. Come to the bottom here. If you can get hold of this roller, buy one. You don't know how handy it is. I'm just loosening up some of the threads that's catching on to the fabric. So, yeah. Right, it's done. Now I have to draw a line there. Get a ruler. Be careful of your hand. Always keep it away. Okay, so you might be able to do, that's a big piece. You can do patchworks on these. I don't know if it's a bigger piece because I can work on it on something else. Okay, now we've got 2 pieces for the back and for the front. Now we have to make a slit because you will see in here there's a slit. But what the mistake is, the slit is too high. It doesn't give you any protection for the crouch. And you see, if you're a guy, so you want to keep it a little bit lower so it also protects you. So I am going to put this back and measure it where I should. And this. Okay, so the slit is coming up to here, and I'm going to keep it there. Come on. They're good. Really hold the fabric so you don't lose. Sometimes they can move. So it's better you hold and lift it a little bit. You will get it right. So I've got a back piece and a front piece. So with the front piece, I have to work on the neck. Okay, so we're going to take that off like that. So that's how it's going to look. This is the back piece. Okay, so I'm going to crease. Okay, now let's work on the. Okay, so if you want a lower neck, keep that bit the same so that you will balance so it doesn't like one's longer than the other one. So you're only adjusting this part. Okay, you can go lower and so it's easier to put through your hip. I'm going to cut. There you go. That's done, and I'm going to slip here so it's easier to put through your hip to do. Okay, that's done. Can you see? So now I just have to attach the pieces. So you can attach anything that you like. I like a bit of a leather look, so I'm going to use, these are fake leathers, these are not real leathers. So you cut it according to shape like that, and then you can stick it like that, okay? Or you can do it the other way, so that both points meet together. So that's what I like, and you will put this tape, these are double-sided, you stick it here, and then you place it here, and you iron on, okay? Since this is fake leather, which means just plastic, and you got to be careful with your iron, keep it on a low heat, and if you're still afraid of your iron, put one of these cloth over it. I've completed the tabard, so I'll take it closer. That's the neckline. Okay, that's how it looks. The front has got like an opening, and let's turn behind. So this is like a cape, a loose cape. Okay, it's not permanently attached, so I'm going to make it like put a hook and then attach it to the button. I'll show you in a bit. Okay, that's another opening at the back, so it's very flexible when you run or you move forward or backwards, so nothing get caught. So that's how it looks. So that's how it look. So attach buttons here and like a cord to go around it like that, and then you put it back like that. Okay, so it's very flexible, and that's how it look without a cape. And I put the belt here. Let me take out the belt and I'll show you how it looks like. You actually can attach a string, but I think putting a belt looks much nicer. So that's how the sides look like, sorry. That's how the sides look like. So you can attach a string to tie it here, or you even can put elastic, thick elastic cord attached here. So yeah, that's how it looks like. So yeah, it's easy to make. It's not hard. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'll put more videos up.